The financial world watched in disbelief. Former President Trump, in a move that shocked markets and reignited global trade fears, announced sweeping new tariffs on a range of goods from major trading partners. These tariffs, he declared, were essential to protecting American jobs and industries. The reaction was swift and brutal. Investors, caught off guard by the announcement, initiated a massive sell-off that sent shockwaves across global markets. Trump's return to protectionist policies, a hallmark of his previous administration, raised the specter of a global trade war, a nightmare scenario for an already fragile global economy still grappling with the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic and ongoing geopolitical uncertainties. This unexpected turn of events has left economists, policymakers, and investors alike scrambling to assess the potential fallout and navigate the treacherous waters of a world seemingly teetering on the brink of a full-blown trade war. April 2, 2025, will forever be etched in the annals of financial history as another Black Tuesday. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, the bellwether of the U.S. stock market, plummeted over 4,000 points, marking its largest single-day point drop in history, eclipsing even the darkest days of the COVID-19 pandemic. The carnage was not confined to U.S. shores. Stock markets across the globe, from London to Tokyo, plunged in sync with the Dow, as panic selling gripped investors worldwide. The S&P 500, a broader measure of the U.S. stock market, wasn't spared either, shedding over 10% in just 3 days. The speed and ferocity of the sell-off evoked chilling memories of the 2008 financial crisis and the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, events that left an indelible mark on the global economy. Investors, fearing a repeat of those dark days, rushed for the exits, seeking refuge in safe haven assets like gold and government bonds. The sudden evaporation of trillions of dollars in market value underscored the fragility of the global economy and the interconnectedness of global markets. As markets reeled from the shock of Trump's tariffs and the ensuing panic, all eyes turned to the world's central banks, those institutions tasked with maintaining financial stability and fostering economic growth. The European Central Bank, already grappling with slowing growth and stubbornly low inflation in the Eurozone, signaled its intention to cut interest rates at its upcoming meeting on April 17. This move, widely anticipated by market observers, is seen as an attempt to stimulate economic activity and counter the deflationary pressures exacerbated by the trade war fears. The U.S. Federal Reserve and the Bank of Japan, the world's other major central banks, are also facing mounting pressure to follow suit and ease monetary policy. A coordinated rate cut by these central bank titans, while potentially providing some short-term relief to jittery markets, could signal a deeper concern about the health of the global economy. The question on everyone's mind is whether these emergency measures will be enough to avert a global recession. The timing of Trump's tariff announcement couldn't have been worse. Just days earlier, the United Nations released its annual World Economic Situation and Prospects report, painting a sobering picture of a global economy struggling to gain traction. The report forecasts global economic growth to sputter along at a meager 2.8% in 2025, a rate considered by many economists to be insufficient to make a dent in global poverty and unemployment. This lackluster growth projection, the report argues, is largely attributable to escalating trade tensions, heightened geopolitical uncertainty, and persistent supply chain disruptions, all factors exacerbated by Trump's recent actions. The report further highlights the uneven nature of global growth, with advanced economies like the US and Eurozone projected to grow at a sluggish 1.9% and 1.2% respectively, while emerging markets, particularly in Asia, are expected to fare slightly better, led by China's projected 4.5% growth. However, even these relatively brighter spots are not without their challenges. The report warns that escalating trade tensions and protectionist policies could derail growth even in these more dynamic economies, dragging down the entire global economy with them. Section 5. Gold glitters, bonds tremble, crypto crumbles, deciphering the market signals. Amidst the market turmoil and economic uncertainty, investors are closely watching various market indicators, trying to decipher the signals and position themselves for the uncertain road ahead. Gold, the traditional safe haven asset, has seen its price surge as investors seek refuge from the storm. This flight to safety is a classic indicator of fear and uncertainty in the market, suggesting that investors are bracing for further turbulence ahead. Bond yields, on the other hand, have been behaving erratically, sending mixed signals about the health of the economy. The yield on the 10-year U.S. Treasury bond, a benchmark for global borrowing costs, initially spiked as investors sold off U.S. government debt, fearing the potential inflationary impact of Trump's tariffs. However, yields subsequently retreated as safe haven buying increased, highlighting the conflicting forces at play in the bond market. Cryptocurrencies, known for their volatility, haven't been spared from the market carnage either. Bitcoin, the world's leading cryptocurrency, has seen its price fluctuate wildly, mirroring the uncertainty and fear gripping traditional markets. These market signals, while not always providing clear-cut answers, offer valuable insights into investor sentiment and their outlook for the future. Section 6. Washington awaits the World Economy Summit. As the world grapples with the fallout of Trump's tariff bombshell, all eyes now turn to Washington, D.C., where global leaders, central bankers, and CEOs will convene for the annual World Economy Summit from April 23rd to 25th. This year's summit takes on added significance against the backdrop of renewed trade tensions and heightened economic uncertainty. The agenda is expected to be dominated by discussions on how to avert a global recession, reform the global trading system, regulate the rise of artificial intelligence and automation, and address the looming debt crisis in the developing world. The summit will provide a platform for world leaders to engage in frank discussions, explore potential solutions, and hopefully, chart a path forward for a more stable and prosperous global economy. However, given the deep divisions and competing interests at play, finding common ground and achieving meaningful progress will be a daunting task. The world will be watching closely, hoping for a sign that global cooperation and multilateralism can prevail in these challenging times. Section 7. A Glimmer of Hope? Trump blinks. Just as the world braced for a full-blown trade war, a glimmer of hope emerged. After days of relentless market turmoil and mounting pressure from global leaders and business groups, former President Trump announced a pause on the implementation of further tariffs. This unexpected reversal, while providing some much-needed respite for jittery markets, did little to quell the underlying anxieties about the future of global trade. The threat of further tariffs remains, hanging over the global economy like a Damocles sword, ready to fall at a moment's notice. The temporary truce bought some time for negotiations and diplomacy, but the fundamental issues that led to this trade standoff remain unresolved. The world waits with bated breath, hoping for a lasting solution that can restore confidence in the global trading system and avert a catastrophic trade war. Section 8. The week that shook the world. The past week has been a tumultuous one for the global economy. From the shock of Trump's tariff announcement to the ensuing market crash, from the central bank's scramble to calm nerves to the UN's grim economic outlook, it's been a week of high drama and heightened uncertainty. The world watched in disbelief as Trump, seemingly oblivious to the potential consequences of his actions, reignited trade tensions, threatening to unravel the fragile fabric of the global economy. The markets, caught off guard, reacted with predictable panic, sending shockwaves across the globe. Central banks, those guardians of financial stability, rushed to provide reassurances and deploy their limited arsenal of tools to stem the bleeding. The UN, in its sobering report, reminded the world of the precarious state of the global economy and the urgent need for cooperation and multilateralism. Amidst the chaos and uncertainty, one thing is clear: the world is at a crossroads, and the decisions made in the coming weeks and months will have far-reaching consequences for years to come. Section 9. The road ahead. Uncertainty reigns. As the dust settles on this tumultuous week, the road ahead for the global economy remains shrouded in uncertainty. The temporary truce in the trade war provides a window of opportunity for dialogue and diplomacy, but the fundamental issues remain unresolved. The global economy, already grappling with multiple challenges, now faces the specter of a renewed trade war, with all its attendant risks and uncertainties. The path forward is fraught with peril, requiring careful navigation and a commitment to cooperation from all stakeholders. The World Economy Summit, taking place in Washington next week, provides a platform for global leaders to come together, engage in frank discussions, and hopefully, chart a course that leads to a more stable and prosperous future for all. The world will be watching, hoping for a sign that global cooperation and multilateralism can prevail in these challenging times.